Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Angel Road Outdoors, the podcast. This is episode 33. I am your host, Brett, and I am joined tonight with Krstan Green. Krstan, how you doing, man?
Good, man. You?
Great. Thanks for coming over again.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Of course. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but you are a busy man, and you work very hard, and you've been coming over to work out in my gym.
Absolutely. And
I love it. I love that you're enjoying it.
I thank you very much for the hospitality.
Yeah,
it is
it's
a unique setting, and it's cool. I vibe with it. It's very fun.
Setting.
It's very fun.
I love it. I love it so much. You know, we're going to get into that a little bit more, like your work and hunting and your life and sort of maybe the balance or imbalance and how you manage it all. But for now, I know who you are. I've been following you for a couple of years, ever since the road show at your house. You are heavily involved in the hunting industry, especially the kind of hunting that I love to watch and follow along with. And that's sort of what has drawn me to follow you initially. Why don't you just take a couple minutes and introduce yourself, who you are, where you're from, how long you've been hunting, kind of in a little bit about yourself.
For sure. So my name's Krstan Green. I reside on the west side of Michigan, small town called Conklin. So for you guys that came to the Mobile Hunters Road Show in 21, that was at my house over there in Conklin, Michigan. I'm a full-time dad. I'm married. I have two children, 2 boys, 2 and 4. I'm a lineman by trade, journeyman lineman. I'm working over here on the east side of the state in Detroit. I started deer hunting when I was probably 16 years old through a friend in high school. His dad kind of caught me really falling for what they were doing. You know, they would shoot their bows and everything, and I was kind of the odd man out. And I was like, man, I was kind of jealous. Well, he had an old bow sitting around. He ended up setting it up for me, getting it in my hands, and I started shooting it. I just grasped it. I fell in love with it. So they took me under their wing, started bringing me up to northern Michigan on some public land. Got real into it. Never harvested a deer. Time went on. 18, graduated high school. I ended up joining the Marine Corps in 2008. Got out in 2013, so there was a big gap of not hunting, different priorities. When I got out in 2013, I moved back to Michigan for probably 6 months. Tried to get back into civilian life, just really wasn't hitting on all 8 cylinders. I woke up one morning, looked at my parents, and I said, I'm leaving, I'm going back to North Carolina. Ended up moving back to North Carolina with whatever things I did own that were mine. Moved back to North Carolina, got obsolete jobs. Didn't really deer hunt. Just didn't have the big opportunity to deer hunt like I did in Michigan. There's tons of public land, but for some of these guys, if you know the South, they do a lot of the dog hunting.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they run a lot of dogs, so it's really, really big there, hound hunting. And I got into that. I did have some friends that were all about it. Got into it, just really didn't strike me. I would go for the purpose of me enjoying hunting.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my style of hunting, you know. I tried the still hunting maybe a dozen times there. Still wasn't hitting it for me. I fell into a deep rut. Got super depressed, just kind of shut everything down, didn't care about the outdoors anymore. Long traveled road, bad road. And then I ended up moving back to Michigan in 2017.
Approximately what ages were you down there in the Carolinas?
Oh, I turned 21 in the Marine Corps. So when I got out, I was 25. That's 25. Yeah, 20 to 25.
Okay. So
ended up moving back in 2017. My long lost buddy at that time, I thank him and his dad wholeheartedly to this day for introducing me to a bow and arrow, introducing me to the outdoors. His dad was actually the one that took me to hunter safety. You know, no discredit to my family. It's just they weren't hunters. And being around them, I fell into it. And he reached out to me. He was like, dude, man, I've been seeing you've been kind of depressed. Like, I can sense it.
Your buddy or your buddy's dad?
No, my buddy.
Okay.
Yeah, my buddy Justin. And he was like, man, why don't you pick up a bow? Nah. Pick up a bow, dude. Nah, I'm good. Ended up hitting me one day, and I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to pick up the bow. I started shooting, and dude, that was lights out, game over. I found my high again. Like, that's what I needed. The outdoors. I needed to be close to God. I've always been a religious guy. I fell off that bandwagon for a while. Tough times will kind of stray you, whether or not you. It just depends on how you look at it. And in my situation, those tough times drew me farther away from the person that I really needed. Mm-hmm. But thankfully, I got back into bow hunting, and I ended up killing some deer. $1, $2. And then I was just like, man, this is fucking fun. Like, this is an adrenaline rush. Like, this is what I needed to fulfill the absence in my life. And I just ran with it, dude. And now here I am. I'm 36 years old. In my book, I have accomplished quite a few good things in the deer hunting world. I've killed some solid deer, nothing extravagant, nothing over 200. I've killed over 150s, but that besides the point, it was just filling the void and being a human again and feeling in touch with nature and just being happy. And I can't, I can't thank Justin enough. He's, I hope he hears this, but that means a lot to me, and I'm thankful for that.
It's incredible to have somebody in your life like that who maybe sees that you are in need of that reaching out. Like, June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And, guys don't typically talk about that stuff. And, it's super cool to be a hard ass and not admit that you need anything, and or be that friend who goes, he's fine. And that's really amazing that you have somebody in your life that did that for you, and not necessarily took you under their wing, but just encouraged you to find something that person thought you might really enjoy. And then come to find out, it's like your passion. I mean, I know you're a family man and your kids are your passion, but you, from what I can tell, love going on these adventures and challenging your physical body and your mental strengths and finding, different things to put yourself through to challenge yourself as a human and a sportsman. What a great gift that guy gave you. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah. And, there's a lot of guys out there that were never blessed in that, mm-hmm. and they're honestly missing something coming from an individual like myself and yourself, mm-hmm. knowing that experience of what it is a sport, but it's not a sport per se. Like, yeah, knowing what this can give you, what kind of thrill it can give you, what kind of encouragement it can give you, what kind of self-discipline it can give you, how mm-hmm. satisfying is. Being able to go and do something and accomplish it is a huge part of it. And it's incredible.
It really is. And there's a lot of people who are in this outdoor industry community for the wrong reasons. Yeah. And it's probably no fault of their own. They just don't know any better. But when you find that spiritual, physical connection to the outdoors, it's no longer just about, I just killed a deer. It's, I sought out a new adventure. I did something out of my comfort zone. I overcame adversity. And then I harvested an animal, which then fed my family, and I have this incredible memory to then live on forever. So when you can get to that point, it's really, that's what this is all about.
When it comes full circle, it's amazing.
Yeah, and
the time and effort that you do put into it, when it does become your passion, and you are able to make the time for that passion outside of your family, who comes first. and it does come full circle, man. And there's no more enjoyable moment for me having that buck in the back of my truck, leaving wherever I'm hunting and coming home and watching my two boys, you know, and mom, she doesn't really care, but you know, she's like, oh God, here we go.
But also she probably sort of is like, he did it.
He did
you know
it.
What I mean?
Yeah,
He
she's
did
got
it.
that.
Yeah.
But
also
undercover gratitude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But seeing my kids excited, you know, I'm blessed. 4 years running now with my oldest boy and 2 years running with my youngest. They've got a picture with dad and a buck.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know, and I know there's going to come a time that I miss a year. There's going to be, but until then, I'm on a winning streak, and I'm so proud to see my boys love it. My little boy will, you know, every time I go home, and it's going to start here. Summertime's coming. You know, corn's growing, beans are going to start popping. Them velvet deer are going to start popping out in them fields, and bachelor groups are going to start showing. My kid, Dad, let's go look for deer. Let's go look for deer. Let's go look for deer. I got him his own set of binos.
Oh, that's awesome.
We could be riding down the road and he's looking at a subdivision. Oh, there's a deer. I'm like, where's the deer, bro? Oh, there's a deer. There's a deer. He's, you know, just copying Dad. He's just excited and he's embracing it and embracing those little memories. And I hope those stick with him because they stick with me.
Oh my God, yes. And you know what? I imagine that there will come a day where that kid's like, I swear we used to do this when I was a little kid.
Yep.
I swear I remember riding around with Dad in his truck or whatever you guys are doing. That's really awesome. You know, it's almost like you cherry picked and read my notes here because that was a perfect segue into what I wanted to get into next was you work a lot, man, and you work hard and you find time to work really hard and also take care of yourself physically here or at your other gyms. And then you have a family and you're going on all these adventures and you're killing great bucks and deer, you know, every single, for at least now you said 4 years in a row. How are you finding time? Like, what are you doing internally to set out goals for yourself and find a little bit of balance?
It's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard, especially my situation. I was used to being at home all the time working, and I had more opportunities to set myself up for a lot of early success per se.
Yeah.
I'm keeping the balance is very hard. You know, thankfully, shout out to my wife. She's a fucking badass. Just going to say that. Right now I'm on the road. I'm on the road 6 days a week. I turn and burn on a Saturday night. I go home. I sleep in my bed one night, hang out with the boys, hang out with her, and I'm back at it again. But she has an understanding that I am out here doing what I need to do to provide for our family. No matter, you know, she knows what I'm doing. And she is very open to allowing me to do what my passion is when I have that free time. Yeah. You know, if I spend time with the kids and I get what I need to get done, babe, go do your thing. Go do your thing. Don't call me. Don't talk to me. Go do your thing. Go separate. Go fulfill your need. Go do it. And so my wife is a big contributor to what I'm able to do. You know, along with working the long hours and being on the road, I always seek out public land wherever I'm at, whether or not I'm going to be able to hunt it. Yeah. My job is it's not hit or miss. It's cutthroat. I could be here tomorrow, or I could get fired tomorrow. It's really the nature of the trade. Oh, you know,
I thought you were almost. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you a union electrician?
Yep, I'm a union journeyman lineman.
I didn't think they could can your ass like that.
Yeah, man.
I thought you had a little more job security. I don't understand the whole union situation.
We have job security, but it just comes down to the workload.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
You know, so if they've got work for 5 crews in a yard, they got work for 5 crews in a yard. But all of a sudden, there's a budget cut or there's something else along the lines, and they say, "Oh well, the work we have is only suitable for 3 crews." Well, we're gonna have to make some cuts.
Yeah, I see it. I was thinking of it completely differently, but now that makes a lot of sense.
So I'm not bound to anything. It's just the nature of the trade. Yeah. And so when I am on the road, like where I'm at now, here in your part of the woods, I sought out some public land, and when I do have free time between the gym, which is my health is my priority. I've had some heart issues, and that really struck a nerve with me. And just recently, my father had some issues, and that really struck another chord with me. Like, man, my dad's 59, I'm 36, and I want to be that 58-year-old man taking my 17-year-old son on a Montana elk hunt or a Midwest whitetail hunt, and I want him to be like, God damn, my dad's a bad motherfucker. I can't
keep up with my own dad. Yeah, hell yeah.
I want to be that guy.
Yes.
I want to, and I don't. So my health and my fitness is one of my number one priorities. But being on the road, it's easier because I don't have that true obligation to go home and spend time with my children.
That's true.
Don't get me wrong. I fucking want to.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see my kids grow up. I'm missing out on a lot of it.
Yeah.
But it has its benefits. Don't take that the wrong way. And I hope
I know exactly what I mean. About. Yeah.
Like, this is allowing me to pursue and do the things that I really want to do. And that's be fit, be mentally fit, physically fit, emotionally fit. I have to be there for my kids, so right now FaceTime is the biggest thing I've got.
Yeah.
I FaceTime my kids hour a night, before they go to bed. I ask them how they're doing. We say prayers together. We do our thing. And that imbalance sucks, but it's a balance that I've learned to work with.
Yeah.
And my wife and my kids understand that.
That's huge.
So come like October 15th, maybe the 20th, I judge the weather.
Yeah.
I take 3 weeks off of work and I go.
Oh, that's nice.
Good. And this year I'm going to Kansas. Last year I went to Missouri, Ohio, Indiana. This year is going to be a wild card. I'm probably going to hunt, and obviously my home state where I tagged $2. This year is going to be a little wild card, but we'll roll into that, see how it all plays out. But we did draw Kansas, me and my buddy Nick.
Yeah.
But the keeping everything balanced, it's no easy task. It's no easy task. We'd obviously have days that I work late and the kids are in bed. Me and the wife, we try to text, we try to conversate as much as we can. And that gets hard too. She's got a job, she works. Sometimes she's in bed by the time hey, what's up? Trying to communicate with her. But at the end of the day, we make time for each other to speak, catch up with each other, see how everybody's day is going, see what needs to be done around the house back at the home front. And we make it work. It's just you have to have a strong understanding of both parties.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
And
whether or not things are good, whether or not things are bad, you have an obligation, and those both meet in the middle at the kids.
Yeah. That's the truth, man.
You just got to do whatever you got to do to make it work.
Well, I can see that you care. Like, I'm pretty good at reading people. I can also be sold a bill of goods. I don't think you're doing that to me.
No.
But
I'm not good. I'm not a good salesman, bro.
I can see that you are very passionate about your family. And from the moment I met you in person here at Beefcakes, I could tell that was a huge part of who Krstan is. And I think that's awesome. I have been someone who has worked, for long periods of time out of town as well in another life. Same life, just only with one kid at the time. Anyway, I know what you're talking about. And I think that's really awesome that you're putting, because you're right. And I've said this before on here, and I'm going to say it again. I have a book in my basement that I have never read, but I know what it's about. It's called Off Balance on Purpose. And it's a book about how you are seeking this perfect balance, but it's fucking impossible. And so your work is fucking tipping the scales one day, and then your work will slow up, and then your family will tip the scales the other day. And then at some point, as it's swinging, the pendulum swinging back the other way, you find this beautiful balance momentarily as it's going back the other way. So it's always a little off balance. But it's
always momentarily, dude.
Understanding that that's okay. And then just working your ass off and taking care of the things that matter the most, I think, is what's so awesome. But you said something in there that I love, and it's that you seek out public land in the various locations where you're working. And those locations are near to me. And, now that it's summertime and, summer scouting is hot and heavy on everybody's minds. I think turkey season is in the rearview mirror. Guys are getting food plots situated and trail cameras put out. Are you able to do any of that right now? Or is your time in the local public land just kind of making sure you don't lose your edge?
It's making sure I don't lose my edge.
Yeah.
But I am fortunate enough that I do have right now, due to the work location, I leave my campground and I'm at my show up now in 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
And we bang out our work. So normally, and we're actually, a lot of our work is right on this public land. So just of this week, I brought a couple trail cameras with me.
Sweet.
And I was able to do a little bit of walking, get into some spots that I wanted to do last year, and I was unable to because of work locations. I was able to go deploy a couple cell cams this past week on some areas that caught my attention last year. So I'm excited to grab a little bit of intel of that. Major pinches, there's some crazy terrain over here.
I know.
It's for Michigan. It's pretty wild over there.
Yeah.
It's like you wouldn't think it's there, but it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I got into some spots where I was like, damn, like, fuck. All right. Come out and had to go straight to the gas station and wash myself up with some Dial soap and stuff. But it's there. It's just to keep my edge. I want to make sure that I continuously know what I'm doing. I'm not searching for a spot to hunt per se.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be able to hunt here, but I have the inspiration to hunt here. I'm looking at a lot of historical things, and that's some of these properties over here are hard to find historical things. They're there, but they are not in the common area where you would believe they are in this property per se. So you really have to get deep into it. And with the time that I have, I'm a point A to point B. If it ain't there, I'm going. Okay. I'm point A to point B. I'm going down another mile of road. All right. I got another spot, point A to point B. If I find something, I'm going to skirt probably 200 yards around it. I'm going to see what's going on around that area. And if I still don't see it, whether or not, it's a little early, but you can still pick up on some of the browsing.
Yeah.
The things that
I just noticed that last weekend too.
You can pick up on some of it. Of course, I'm gonna find the nearest ag, and I'm also gonna look for the easiest and most covered travel route from that private ag to the public. Now, there's not much private ag directly next to any of these public land spots around here.
Right.
They have to travel, I'm checking out even right on the road. I'm looking for, runways coming right down the ditch, right off the ditch from a tree lot. And then the food's behind that tree lot. There could be 40 acres there, but there's a cornfield back there, right? Well, this little 40 acres is kind of open. Okay. And then you do a little grid search and you're like, well, there's possibly deer on this side, but this runway right here is telling me that the deer are coming from here on the public. So I'm scouring that when I can. But I'm a point A to point B in this situation where I'm at here. I'm probably maybe got 2 hours and I'm using work time, but I'm parking my truck and I'm going in and I'm getting out. I do plan on probably staying here on a Saturday overnight, taking a Sunday. Kid's going to come up here and camp. Good. And, I plan on putting a little bit more effort in this year, but it's more so to keep my edge, back home. When I go back home, I know I don't put a whole lot I got a 100-acre lease over there. I've had it for 5 years, 6 years now. Farmers are great to me. I help the farmers when I got opportunity to. There is some public at the house. I've dabbled with it a little bit, but there's a lot of pressure and I have better opportunities on other public, and I do a lot of out-of-state hunting. So I typically stick to what I know, and that's just historical sign. Obviously weather changes a lot of things. Storms change a lot of things. So I do like to get boots on the ground back at my home piece and see what trees have fallen down. What's happened? Did the crop rotate? Obviously crop rotations, this neighbor planted beans last year. Well, he's planting corn this year. Now this is corn. Okay. Now most of the deer are going to migrate from what was beans, over to the corn, and because there's more bedding now, there's more seclusion, right? They're going to be in the corn. They're going to be here. So their travel patterns are going to change. And then you roll into the fall patterns. Those all change. But I just try to keep my wits about me.
I like that.
I'm no pro by any means.
No, I mean, I don't know that you can ever become a pro, because I think the moment we think we figured the deer out, deer are evolving just like we're evolving. I've often wondered, I'm about to go on a fucking tangent here. So
go ahead.
Bear with me here.
I got my first form.
That's right. We're focused.
Smash.
We both got our fucking Summer Smash first form going on here. So human evolution, especially technologically speaking, is advancing incredibly fast. So the human hunter is using super fast compound bows, most of us, cell cameras and trail cameras to locate the deer and get on the deer. We have e-scouting that we're doing literally in our pockets all the time. We have phone capabilities where we can reach out to our buddies instead of, long since the day where you had to walkie-talkie somebody if they were in reach. Humans are evolving incredibly fast. The world itself is not evolving at the same speed. The rest of the world and nature is not necessarily evolving at the same speed by which the human hunter is. At what point do you think the deer will catch up to where we are today, and we'll have to switch everything up? Do you get what I'm asking?
I believe so, but I think the deer are already a step ahead of us.
You think so?
They have to survive 24/7. So do we.
Mm-hmm.
But they have more predators than, per se, than what we like to think we do.
Absolutely.
So they're constantly evolving to terrain, to different situations. They constantly have to know in and outs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as my human nature, I walk into a situation, it takes me 5 seconds to know, okay, this is where they get. I'm getting the fuck out of here if something goes down. But deer, I believe, are never. They're nonstop. They are 24/7 evolving, in my opinion.
Okay, so with that, I don't disagree with you. So with that, first of all, I totally derailed what I was going to say about your scouting. So I'll come back to that. But with what you just said and the recent rash of trail camera bans across the country, do you think it is pointless to ban trail cameras? Because, like you just said, the deer are already one step ahead of us. Do you think it's a pointless ban?
I like trail cameras to a point, so I don't think it's necessary to ban them. I mean, the government's going to want to do what they want to do. PETA people are going to do what they want to fucking do.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it's necessary to ban them. I really don't. I don't think. I mean, you do have those people that will sit there and be like, "Oh, I had this deer on my Tacticam at 9:46 on the east side of my property, and he was headed west, and I jumped in my tree stand and I killed him by 10:35."
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, rightfully so. You're able to do that.
Yeah.
But I don't. I'm going off topic. That's
not really.
It's a tool. We're using it for inventory. We're using it to learn these deer, to help pattern these deer, to set ourselves up for success.
So. Yes.
But I don't think truly it's a reasonable thing to ban them.
I
don't think you're going to kill a deer just based on a trail camera photo. I don't think you are.
The example you just gave is so fucking rare. It's so fucking rare. The hunter that gets a picture at 9 with a deer heading a specific cardinal direction and is able to cut him. That is probably a micro fraction of the hunter's success.
Yeah, 1 in 1,000,
in a calendar
I'm sure.
year over year. So the fact that anybody, and I know they are using those examples in these bands, okay? So the fact that they're using such a micro fraction of an example of somebody doing something maybe bad, again, is it bad? I don't know. I mean, we're just a predator using all the tools to our advantage. So if you're going to use those super small examples, but I agree with you. I think the deer are always a step ahead of us. The deer recognize the cameras. The cameras fucking stink. They smell like plastic. They smell like batteries. They smell like your hands. They smell like your backpack that you carried them out in. Even as long as that motherfucker's in the woods, I can smell the batteries the second I open it up.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's 6 months, I can smell the batteries.
And you and I, we have an electromagnetic field that we put off. Well, what do you think that camera's doing?
100%. So
they're not taking any of that into consideration. Okay, that camera goes off and it's a cell camera. Whether you got it set for every 12 hours or 24 hours to send yourself a photo dump or timely. Mm-hmm. Every time you do that, that camera is triggering and sending off a click, like it's electronic. Sure. You know what I mean? And every fucking person that's got a trail camera has got a photo of a deer that's pegged that camera.
Oh, yeah. I probably have them right now.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't believe that banning a trail camera is going to save the world.
No,
it's not, because
those deer know
those deer know when the moment you put a camera up on a heavily traveled corridor and you get that 160 that walks by and he's 5 years old and he's been living there and that's a new camera, fuck you. I am not coming back.
Well, I guess I don't know that my 5-year-old ever. I don't know that he ever I mean, I don't have a picture of him staring at my camera, but I would be shocked if he never saw it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would be. Yeah. I'm not going to say every single deer is going to dip out on you.
A 5-year-old 160, and that's what he is up there.
Oh.
And I had him on camera a shitload last year.
Like, not every deer is going to dip out on you, but for me to say they don't know that something's there, I'll take that to the grave.
I think they'll So Dieter just talked about this. I think he talked about it with Joe. Man, I can't remember who he just talked to. I think he was talking about it with Justin Sinan on the Running and Gunning.
Okay.
Our buddy Justin. So deer have to make a judgment on the threat level that they are perceiving at any given moment. So a deer who's very skittish of human beings and foreign objects in the woods has to make a judgment on the threat level it is perceiving when it recognizes that unfamiliar camera suddenly. Whereas a deer that's never fucking seen a human or a camera or is just unfamiliar with getting fucked with might look at the camera and go, I honestly don't know what that is.
Never seen that before.
I'm going to move on because I don't know what that is and it doesn't mean anything to me. But if it saw the camera and it saw you and you took a dump in the woods and it started to put all those things together, okay, maybe. And
that's
then the
human
next year,
related.
Yeah, and then next year maybe it gets shot at and they miss. Well, now you're fucked.
Now you're really setting triggers.
So there's a whole. One of my things on here was how close do you think Michigan is to banning trail cameras?
Oof.
Just your gut reaction on public land. Public land only.
Oh, geez. I don't think it's coming.
No? Interesting.
I don't, because we're not, just my personal opinion, we're not recognized as like a top state.
That's a good point.
You know, look, I mean, Iowa, they just did it. Public land. You can have them, correct me if I'm wrong, you can have them out during the day or something, but you can't have them out at night, blah, 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 public land. And
it can't be used in the aiding of obtaining a wild game. So like, you can put it out, but it can't help you kill that deer. And you also have to take it down before sundown.
Yeah.
How the fuck are you going to do that?
Right.
And I think I just heard Dan Johnson on the Nine Fingers say that that's actually always been the law. They were asked to now clarify and begin enforcing it.
Okay.
Which is really interesting.
I don't. That's my gut. I
Okay.
don't think Michigan's going to do it anytime soon. If they do, so be it.
Yeah.
But that's what I would say. We're not Illinois. We're not
Right.
Iowa. We're not Kansas. We're not Missouri.
Yeah.
We're not in the top 10 of Boone and Crockett's. We're not. So I don't foresee that being a topic of discussion. We're all hemmed up on fucking APRs and just trying to make our deer herd
That's
better
a fact.
right now.
And it's interesting because we have a pretty strong deer herd.
We do. We've
We
got
don't
an
have a good
astronomical
age
amount
class, though.
of deer.
Yeah.
Our average deer are 2.5.
I just talked about this with a guy recently. He's like, we've got so many deer. Like, if people really want to hunt and hunt deer, just flat out deer, we are.
No
we
rhyme,
should
no
be
reason, just deer.
We should be a destination state. We have incredible habitat.
Yeah.
We have incredible deer numbers. We have incredible state land acreage. Like,
we have millions of state land.
so many deer, but everybody gets hung up on the quality of buck instead of the quality of opportunity. And so, like you said, we may not be a destination state for Boone and Crockett whitetails, but I think we really should be thought of, and maybe some people think differently, we should be really thought of as a destination state for deer hunting.
For deer hunting in
Period.
general,
Yeah.
yes. Because I think it'd be hard pressed for me to tell you that if you put in a little bit of time and a little bit of effort and you went to any given piece of public land and you didn't see a doe, I think you suck.
Yeah, it's you.
It's you.
There are so many fucking deer out here.
There's a ton of deer here.
Yeah.
You can drive up and down this highway right out of the road
Yeah.
any given night and look out in some of these little fields, some of these little pastures, and you'll see 10 to 15 does.
Yep.
Go down another half
fact.
mile, another 10 to 15 does. You go down some of these other fields, they'll be holding 60 freaking deer. And if you wanted to really just hunt deer, Michigan is a place to come.
Yeah.
There's a ton of deer. There's
agree.
an astronomical amount of deer. Our deer herd is overran. We just do not have the age structure and the structural integrity of a solid herd.
Yeah.
Per se, it's not
Yep.
it's not super regulated, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm hoping for in this month to come, these next years, that there are some changes. Because truthfully, as you and I just spoke, Michigan can be a top state.
Should
Give it 5 years with the
Yeah.
right regulations put into place. You're going to piss a lot of people off. You're going to piss all these old heads off. Brown it's down. You're going to take away some traditions, and I'm not one to take away traditions because that's just part of the nature. Michigan is a huge deer hunting state.
Oh, yeah.
But I think the ultimate goal for everybody is to have the best time they can have hunting and go out there and succeed. And if we change some things, it might not be right away, but you're going to have a better opportunity to shoot that 130, that 140 on an average, and then that 5%, of seeing a 150s, 160s might bump up to 10% in 2
Yeah.
years, 3 years.
Hell yeah.
And then everybody's going to be like, oh shit, I'm down with this. Let's get it. Let's keep this ball rolling, and then you can start. I think, and another thing, we're charging out-of-state hunters, what, $275 or something like that?
I don't even know if it's that. I had a buddy came up from Florida one year. This was like 2 or 3 years ago to hunt, and it was $171. That's cheap.
That's cheap,
So
yeah.
cheap.
But I want to say it was over 200. I
could've
could be
gone up,
wrong,
yeah.
but obviously we're residents. We're not
Yeah.
looking at it, and I don't dig on the non-resident side. But and if you were a non-resident hunter that wanted to come to Michigan and you've seen the price tag, why would you want to come in here when you can go to Indiana for the same cost and have a better opportunity to kill a Pope and Young,
Yep.
even a Booner?
Fuck,
Not saying they're
Ohio's the same
yeah.
price, just about, isn't
Not
it?
saying they're around every tree, not
Yeah.
saying around every corner, but the odds in those two states versus Michigan are substantial. Excuse you.
No, thank you. And speaking of traditions and the hunting community here, culture, those same, like you said, old heads, which I love, that preach culture and tradition are not thinking long term. They're not thinking about your and my children having this resource further on down the road. And I think it's our generation, because we're not far off in age, that have to stand up to the old heads, because realistically speaking, God bless them, they're going to be aging out of hunting in the next 10 years, a lot of those old heads. And so their numbers will dwindle, and it is really honestly up to us and people like Josh, who are so heavily involved in all of those meetings and voicing his concerns. And I respectfully know that I should be more involved myself. It's up to us to challenge the old heads' way of thinking for our kids. Because if we don't, it's fucked, man. They're fucked.
Yeah. Even all the statistics that I'm part of the West Central Branch NDA, and we have, some of the guys in our group have done numerous amounts of research and brought all these statistics to the table and done their fair share, and they've done very well at it, and they're getting somewhere. But it's still a challenge to really put it in black and white that, hey, if we do this, we can have this.
Mm-hmm.
Or if we change this, you can still have this, but we can also achieve this.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, you get into it even deeper. The DNR's in somebody else's pocket, and it's a whole rabbit hole. But
that is the one
possible
thing right there, that being in somebody else's pocket. What's the other organ? Is it the NPC? What's the NRC?
The NRC.
The NPC, the NRC. Aren't they like that's the organization that I would be most concerned with being heavily influenced by money from people who are trying to sway decisions.
Yeah.
That would be the organization, I think, if I'm understanding this correctly, may feel a little pressure from our liberal government to maybe make some trail camera bans without really seeing it all the way through.
Seeing the definition.
Yeah. I just took a really long way around the farm to get back to the barn, because what I wanted to say, which before I went off on a tangent, is for anybody who's working a 6 to 5, a fucking 10-hour workday, a 12-hour workday, 6 days a week, and is stressed out about the amount of time that they have to summer scout, Krstan is using a point A to point B opportunity to take a little bit of time and be very focused in what he's scouting. And I do that as well, because I don't have as much time as I used to, but I still have some time. I know where I want to go, and I'm going there. And if it doesn't look great, I got to get back to work, and I'll find another spot another day, and I will do that same point A. And then once, because the worst thing that can happen is I at least know where I'm not going to go.
Right.
You go to that point,
check
that
one
pin
place
you drop,
off.
you're like, well, that was a bust, and now I can mark that off and move on. But if you have all these ambiguous pins in your Onyx or your hunt stand or whatever it is that you use, and you never get a chance to go look, you're actually doing yourself a disservice.
You are.
So to take that micro scouting opportunity, that point A to point B, hopefully you find something great, circle around it a couple 100 yards, look for more sign, and then just confirm what your gut was telling you, or write it off and then move on.
And at the very least, you're going to catch something on the way out that you didn't see on the way in.
Yep.
And go from there. Make
So
a mental
listen, man,
note and come back.
I want to know, so you said you've done a lot of things in your 36 years.
I have.
You've done a lot of things in the outdoor industry community. You've partnered with some incredible people. You found some great relationships, friendships. I assume great friendships.
Absolutely.
From what I can see on with what you share on social media. Tell me a little bit about Film the Outdoors.
Film the outdoors.
Why'd you just start laughing?
It's cool because we're a group of guys that we all love each other. We are constantly in communication, and we are a group of outcasts.
Okay.
We are blue collar, all work 9 to 5. I say 9 to 5, but they're all not 9 to 5s. They're 6 to 7. we're all blue collar workers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a lineman. I got a buddy in Iowa, Connor. He's a pipe layer. Austin in Nebraska. He's got his own construction business. Vinny, he's a blue collar man. Got Artie out in New Jersey. He does some dope shit, man. This dude fucking fab up a Porsche, like a 19, I don't know, like a early 80s Porsche. Somebody will bring him a old Porsche that's a little bit rusted. Artie will look at that thing and make a mental picture and rebuild a fender just out of scratch. And, he high dollar stuff. And then, I got Austin. He's in Ohio. He does something with seed. He's in the agricultural department.
Okay.
But dude, we're just a group of guys, and can't forget Tyler. He's a mortician in Indiana. So he's
Tyler that's at the road shows is a mortician.
Yeah, man. Tyler
I need to learn some more about that.
Yeah. He's got my cremation. He's got
Are you messing with me?
No, not at all.
Awesome.
He's got my cremation set up.
I got to write that down to follow up with him.
But dude, we are just a group of guys that are really no bullshit. We like to experience everything we can experience. Our goal is to bring it to you raw. Like we're not shooting for 4K quality. We're not shooting for cinema quality. We all agree on the same thing. We're just blue collar dudes just trying to make it work, who all have a passion of deer hunting. And sometimes we got a camera in our hand. Sometimes we don't. And we just want to bring it to you live and raw. I mean, the ups, the downs, we're getting better at it. We've had some hiccups, but we are a solid group of dudes that just enjoy the outdoors and the friendship that we have created coming together to illuminate this film, The Outdoors, that a lot of people have come to know. We are fortunate enough to be sponsored and taken care of by Lone Wolf Custom Gear. We're working on some other deals with some other companies. Hopefully those come through. There's been a couple of us that have reached those. We're figuring out details, but we're hoping to grab a bow company. All of us strive to bring our passion to everybody else, and we really don't give a fuck if you like it or not. That's how we are. We just like it, and we just want to film it.
So you know what I envision when you sort of describe Outcasts and you guys are all over the place? I envision the adult version of the Little Rascals.
There you go.
In the hunting community.
That's it, dude.
I love that. So I think somebody in your crew, because you guys are very creative, I think one of you guys needs to come up with a Little Rascals shirt with all your faces on it. And you guys could be the Little Rascals.
Dude, I think you just nailed it, because I'm in charge of the apparel. And we get a lot of people, that they want hats and stuff like that. Yeah. We made our little runs of hats and shirts. And, you get a lot of these guys that are drawn to that cartoonish. Look at Exodus. Mm-hmm. They made that scrape, that buck on a scrape with the Exodus camera. And there's a couple other people that have made that cartoony thing. So that I like that. I think that's pretty funny.
The hardest part is going to be figuring out who is who.
Who's who?
Yeah, I mean, you probably have some immediate
I'm Alfalfa.
Ideas.
Or ain't that his name?
Yeah,
Alfalfa. That's me. I'm Alfalfa for sure.
All right, I look forward to that. I look forward to seeing that.
I'm gonna have to look into that. But long story short, again, dude, we're just a group of guys that enjoy each other's company, enjoys each other's conversation, and we all bring one thing to the table, and that's our passion for the outdoors. Turkey hunting, bobcats, trapping, fishing, whatever it is, we just want to enjoy God's creation for us. That's my own words. I know all them guys, but I mean, that's it. We just love what we are able to do.
Yeah.
And we're not anything special. We just enjoy it.
Well, there's a theme in the beginning of our conversation tonight, the middle of our conversation, and especially right here, and it's community.
There's a great community in this hunting.
There is a great
hunting community.
There's a ton of discussion about how we tear each other down. And although that does happen, the good parts of the community are often outshined by the negative. And when you can find a group of little rascals spread out across the country that share
I'm never going to forget this.
that share the same passion and that can encourage you to be all that you can be in your group. And the one thing I loved about this group that is called fucking Film the Outdoors is sometimes you have a camera and sometimes you don't. That's a high stress thing when you're trying to create content.
It
is the camera. But the ability to go, you know what? I didn't fucking get it on film, and that's still okay. You're still in the group because it's not about the film. It's about the story. It's about your friendship. It's about growing as a group, and just kind of sharing in the community. And I think it's there, man. It's there if you want it. You just got to go meet those
chase
people. You got to go find them.
Yeah.
You got to seek them out. You got to not be afraid to say what's up. You got to not be afraid to go to the Mobile Hunter Roadshow. You got to not be afraid to be a wild man or be yourself. Just be your fucking self.
And that's why I'm at Beefcakes.
That's right. That's why you're at Beefcakes.
So I'm at Beefcakes working out, getting my swole on. You reached out to me and was like, hey, dude, come check out the gym. And you ended up being 10 minutes down the road from where I'm staying. We linked up and you met me at the road show at my house.
Yeah.
Like you said, community.
Yep.
Our community is full of a lot of great individuals such as yourself, dude.
Thank you.
You know, I appreciate you very much allowing me to come to your home unbeknownst, use your facility, use your Bluetooth over there. Let me scare your neighbors away with the crazy music, and me and your chicken got.
You might listen to rap, but I listen to the fucking death metal, so that guy hears it all, man. He hears it all.
But me and Teddy, Teddy. You guys remember Teddy out there? Me and Teddy are gonna get after it.
Oh man!
But no, we do have a great community, and I believe there's some great things coming from Film the Outdoors. Back on that, we just had a little bit of a swap. So Connor Wakefield out of Iowa, he is our main man. He put a lot of fucking time and effort into this in the beginning months, along with other individuals. But he definitely hit this fucker head on full steam, and, got us to where we are. And, unbeknownst to that, so we're making a little change. There's going to be a couple of myself and another Vinny. We're going to be taking over really the social media. And Connor has different aspirations, man, and he's gaining on them fuckers. Yeah. And we want to see Connor do nothing but succeed with those aspirations. And I'm not going to say, but he's got some cool deals worked out where Connor's going to do some cool shit. He's a very creative minded person, and he knows how to deer hunt. And, there's a lot of haters out there, and there's an underlying meaning to FTO, and I'll just say it's fuck the ops. Like, I don't give a shit.
Okay, I like it.
That's where it all started. And we had to come up with something, Film the Outdoors. But, it's just drama in this industry too sucks. And I'm not even going to classify us as in the industry because we're not that well known, as some other people are, but it comes of all sizes and shapes, man. It's everywhere. You gain a little bit of traction, you got some bird chirping, and beat feet parakeet. Like, get out of here, dude. Don't need it. So
I gotta write that one down.
But no, I give all credit to my buddy Connor. He is what really made Film the Outdoors where it's at. Nothing short of everybody else putting in the effort. But we're going to go a different route a little bit here, and I'm hoping that everybody likes the route we're going to go. Going to be pretty cool. Like I said, we're not going to bring you cinema quality. We're just going to bring you what we got and what's real and how it really goes down.
That's what's most important.
I
moved back home to Michigan in 2017. I started hunting immediately. I did not realize people were filming their hunts until 2020 or 2021. How fucked up is that?
That's crazy because it's been going around for a long time. Look at whitetail addictions.
Exactly. And all these people that I talked to are like,
Chris Brackett. I love Chris Brackett. We can get on this real quick. I love Chris Brackett He's a fucking walking dictionary.
He
if you
seriously
sit there
is.
and listen to him, you know, whatever he did in the past is the past, and that's like everybody. You can only judge a person so much. Everybody deserves a second chance. Everybody deserves an opportunity. I'm not going to say equal opportunity because that's a fine line for me, but everybody deserves a chance. And what he did in the past is what he did in the past. You got to look past that. He is a walking dictionary. He is a very, very well-rounded individual when it comes to deer hunting and deer management, food plots, setting up a piece of property.
He's incredible.
Like that man's, but what was the name of his show back in the day? He had a show of his own back in like the early 90s. So people are filming in the 80s too. Like Andre, he's been around
with fucking over-the-shoulder video cameras, dude.
It's just crazy how much everything's evolved and how little we really knew about it until 2020, 21, and then now. Yeah.
So I told you I got hurt, and I'm literally laying in my house while my eye is, healing. And I'm like, you know what? Life is short. I'm going to do all these fucking hunting adventures. That's the first year I decided to go to Kansas. And I went all by myself.
What part did you go to?
I went to Unit 7, like North Central.
Okay.
But while I was laying face down on a massage table so that my eye could heal, I realized any video I could ever want to see is on fucking YouTube for hunting. And the videos that I respected the most were raw. They showed the mistakes. They had the people talking about how they made a mistake, because I learn by making mistakes. Most people learn by making mistakes. If all you watch is fucking dudes shooting 200-inch deer over a food plot out of a box blind, you're not going to learn anything.
That's all you're going to have that's all that's going to be ingrained in your brain.
Yeah. You got to watch
set
a guy.
yourself up for nothing but failure.
You got to watch a guy draw back on a deer that's too close and fucking shoot him in the shoulder. Yep. You got to watch a guy shoot over a deer's back. You have to then listen to them say, I should have waited. The deer wasn't feeling there. Like all those things that people talk about on the raw footage is what everybody needs to see. And I think the fact that that's what you guys want to bring. First of all, I've never thought your guys' stuff wasn't like high quality. So for what it's worth, your shit's great.
Thank you.
But the fact that you want to show it raw and honest is exactly what everybody needs, especially young people just getting into it. Just show it for what it is.
There's too many influencers
posers
and people out there that are, posers is what I'll call them, posers too. Not everybody is gifted with a 10,000 acre ranch or a 5,000 acre Kansas lease or Iowa lease and has these paperback people come in there with all this money to pay for this hunt. And, not everybody has that. And if that's all you sit there and watch on YouTube, on social media, and especially being a new hunter, if that's all you see, that's what you're going to go into the woods with the expectation that you're going to see a 180 in fucking Byron Center, Michigan or something. No, the fuck you're not. You're going to go out there, you're going to get your little feelings hurt, you're going to run back to mom, and she's going to play cry fiddle, and that's just going to be the nature of it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't grow up that way. You didn't grow up that way. Well, I don't know that, but I'm saying, the social media takes away, and I got into this on another podcast with Matt Lear when me and some of the guys from Lone Wolf sat down at the PA Harrisburg show. Social media takes away from the passion of hunting. Mm-hmm. It takes away from the meaning, in my opinion. It's a great tool. It's a great tool for being social.
That's why we're here today.
Yeah. It's great to learn. You can definitely learn things off that. Yeah. You can do that. But if you go down the wrong rabbit hole and you start watching all the same shit, you're going to fall into that. Like the Drurys, they have the money, they have the farms, they have the resources. They've set themselves up since Mark and the other guys 25, 30 years ago doing what they're doing. So those are guys that are exceptions. They've made this to what they're doing with a lot of hard work and stuff, but you can't just come into
right.
You can't just fall in. I mean, you can fall into whoever your parents are, but the new 16-year-old hunter can jump on YouTube and get his mind completely shattered because he's going to think Mom just got me a brand new Bowtech. I'm going to go out there in the backyard and I'm going to shoot a 160 on opening day. No, Charlie, you can't. You're probably going to go shoot a 100. I'm not even an 80-inch 6-point, right? But you better be fucking happy, dude, because that's what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
You write your story, but social media will take a ton of that away from you.
Yeah.
And I've fallen into that trap. Everybody
everybody
that I've talked to, yourself, you just said it. Everybody I've talked to has fallen into the trap of social media, even when it gets closer to deer season. You're just taken away from your own glory, your own story, your own success, right? Don't stop comparing yourself to everybody. I hate it. I have done it numerous times. I'll be sitting in the stand November 16th or November 5th, and I'm like, oh, Dylan shot a deer, Nick shot a deer, Johnny shot a deer, Bobby, blah, 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 blah. And I'm over here like twiddling my thumbs. I'm still just face down in my phone. Well, you're not going to kill anything if you're just face down in your phone. Mm-hmm. Embrace the hunt, embrace the thrill, embrace the seek, and all of that. So, sorry I went on that little tangent. No, social media just ruins a lot of it. Even though we all like to participate in social media and engage in it and want to reach different aspects of the community, it just is a bummer at times.
It is a definite bummer. But circling back to what we talked about earlier, the positives of the community that we have found within this social media adventure can really be amazing.
They are.
And so, although it has a ton of negatives, social media is so incredibly addicting. For even if we're not talking about hunting, like let's say hunting didn't even exist. Social media itself and the instant gratification that comes along with it is like fucking crack. And what it's doing to young people's brains is the problem. Now, looping hunting back in, that's kind of what you were just talking about. But our community is incredible. There's wonderful people here. There's a ton of great people in Michigan as well.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
That's why I preach it, and it's coming up soon, the Mobile Hunter Roadshow. I mean, again, that's where I first met you. We went to your house the first year. Was that the first year?
That was the first year in Michigan.
The first year in Michigan. Yeah.
So this year we're coming real quick.
Yeah.
This year we're coming back to Springfield, Michigan.
Springport.
Springport. Same venue, same location. We're just bringing a whole new ball game.
I'm excited to find out because you just had a smirk on your face
that
not everybody can see, but I saw it. I'm excited. The people that put it together are incredible. You guys, the social media community that we were just talking about, a ton of them go to these shows. Yeah. And if you want to meet somebody, just go and say hi. Even if you don't participate in the challenges, just go hang out. I went because I was looking to make an investment in my mobile hunting game, and it is an investment. And before I did that, I wanted to be in the stand, and I am 90% sure I sat in your stand at your house. And I needed to know.
That's why it's so good now.
Yeah, I needed to know. Yeah, I needed to know if the 0.5 was going to work for me. Because, again, you get on the internet and you read all these reviews, and I just needed to touch it. I needed to sit in it. I needed to know that I could confidently make an investment. So if you are someone who is on the fence about a Lone Wolf custom gear product, go to the Roadshow for a very low cost, hang out with a bunch of like-minded individuals, meet some cool new people, get a shitload of free knowledge, not free knowledge, but a shitload of knowledge, touch the equipment, sit in it, climb up in the tree, ask people, is this right? Ask all the questions that you're concerned about so that when you do make that investment, you can make it confidently. And I don't know where I was going with that, but you were saying that we're going back to Springport, to David's house. That fucking property is incredible. I was talking to someone to try and have it here, but then going to David's, I'm like, no, dude, it's not big. My property's not big enough. We couldn't do it here. Yeah. But I love that place, man. It's going to be so fun.
It's going to be fun. This year's going to be cool. I'm hoping that I'm definitely going to be at Iowa's, and I'll be a speaker again at Michigan. But man, we're bringing the heat this year. Hopefully, it's going to be cool.
Good.
Got Got some cool things in the work. Cody's a mastermind. He's cool.
Yeah.
That's a character, man. Shout out. He's a good dude, man. But like you just touched on, if you have not, or if you've been on the fence of any Lone Wolf custom gear product, I know the price point is the price point, but come feel it, touch it, sit in it, use it, ask all the questions you want, figure out what's going to work for you. And the biggest thing is it is an investment. It's 100% USA made. It's got a lifetime warranty. Any questions, anything you encounter with that, the customer service is bar none. We have great people behind the company. It might be cliche, but there ain't a fucking piece out there that's going to touch it.
Yeah. I don't regret for 1 second buying that stand. Not for 1 second.
So it's 100%. It's an investment.
Yep.
But it's a tool.
Yeah.
I mean, nowadays you dump $2,000 into a bow that you towed around.
Mm-hmm.
You know, think about your safety. In my aspect, I would rather be sitting 12 feet up in the air
Mm-hmm.
to 25 feet up in the air, however you hunt, in something that I know that has a proven background to it. You know, that's not going to, well, am I going to stand on this and it's going to crack and I'm going to go 25 feet down?
Yeah.
Or can I put all 350 pounds of me on this platform with confidence and be satisfied?
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. I'm not going to use something that I don't trust. I'm not going to use something that I don't believe in. It's built to last, and it is bar none the best on the market.
Yeah.
100%. And then it's cliche as it is. Everybody knows that. You can argue it if you want to, but
yeah, I mean, I have no affiliation here with myself at all, but I will go to bat and
well,
say,
there's people out there. They're going to be, oh, you fucking bandwagon.
yeah, and that's fine. I did my due diligence. I bought an XOP initially and realized it was heavier than I wanted it to be.
That's what I started with.
And I wanted to reduce weight because I wanted to go further and longer, and I knew that I would have to make an investment in a lighter product, and it is absolutely. I'd go to bat for them in that product any day, for any reason, due to its quality and the fact that it has put me in positions to do things I would have otherwise never been able to do with a different product.
Oh, it makes it
most
so much
likely.
easier.
Yeah.
Once you get a rhythm down and you get a system going with whatever products you choose, the 0.5 with 20-inch stick compacts or 20-inch singles, whatever, or I'm sorry, doubles and compacts, whatever system you put together and you get efficient with it, if you cannot get down and out of your stand within, I'm just going to say 10 minutes, down and moved.
Oh, yeah.
50 yards away, 60 yards away during the rut or whatever, you see that buck cruise. If you can't, maybe not everybody can do that, you know, different physical attributes and things like that. But that system allows you to be very, very mobile, very versatile.
At the drop of a hat.
Exactly. And it's so easy. It's a system. It packs the right way.
Yeah.
Everything goes to its designated place. Yep. Everything goes to its spot. There's certain tie down attachments in the right spot. There's, you know, everything is just well thought out, and it's there, and it's a very very top quality piece of equipment.
100%.
What do you have on yours? You have a 20-inch seat post?
I have the tall seat post and 17-inch double steps with the 8er on each one.
Nice.
Yep. I had the 20s, but I gave them to my brother to use, and I was like, you know what, the 17s fit better, and so I just bought the 17.
I'm thinking about snagging a Ranger. I'm gonna have to look at it. I don't even saddle hunt. But
I'm gonna have to look at it this year.
I don't even saddle hunt.
I love the fixed platform, so I don't know that I need another. I have not looked at gear since I got those. I am very comfortable with those. Isn't that? It's a good feeling. The only thing I'm looking at now is like my ARO setup. My arrows are good, but that company doesn't exist anymore.
What do you got?
They are what used to be called, they were Method, then they were Vector, and then they went out of, or maybe they were Vector, and then they went to Method arrows, and then they went out of business because of a legal dispute.
Gotcha.
So I can't even order those arrows anymore.
I've been using Deer Crossing Archery.
I don't think I know that.
Yeah, they're an arrow company.
Huh.
I've been using my buddy Kalen Pope.
I know that name.
Yeah, he makes arrows.
Okay.
So if you're interested in a set of arrows, custom setup arrows.
That's probably why I know that name.
Arrows Anonymous.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's
man.
him?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Shoot him up,
Yeah.
He's
Okay.
he made me a dozen last year, and I got him making me a dozen again this year.
That's awesome.
And you just tell him your draw weight, tell him what bow you're shooting, your draw length, kind of whereabouts you want to be. He does all these numbers. He sends them to you fletched, wrapped, however you want them, spine aligned, all that.
Yeah.
And I have never had a set of arrows fly the way that these arrows fly. I was very impressed. Very impressed. Like I said, I'm getting another dozen.
Nice.
He knows what he's doing.
I love that. I love the fact that there's so many options these days. There's also, that can be a problem, but I love that the options, especially when you can ask around and find the right avenue to get you where you want to be. Yeah. I don't have a problem. Like, I love those arrows. They fly great, but I can't order anymore. So
because
like,
they don't exist. Yeah.
I only got 9. What am I going to, I can't fuck anything up now. Maybe I get one more year out of this 9. Well, listen,
good then.
Let's talk about your goals for 2024 in the woods. What are you hoping to do this year? As far as, I mean, this can be deer wise, it can be filming wise, it can be filming outdoors wise, it could be whatever. All encompassing. What are your goals for 24?
My goal this year is to capture as much of my ups and downs that I can and bring them to the audience. I have an agenda. I'm going to be going to Kansas. Me and my buddy just drew Kansas Unit 3.
God, I love that.
I'm super fucking stoked about it. It's going to be a huge difference from what we normally hunt, southern Ohio, southern Indiana, going to some flatland where there's big deer. Hopefully going to hit Missouri again with another buddy of mine. I got high hopes for Kansas, man. Good. I really do. Going into it, majority of it's pretty blind. Last time I was in Kansas was 2020. I had a buddy of mine that lived out there. He unfortunately passed away. So,
oh, that's right. You did tell me.
Yep. I kind of stayed away. I just felt like there's this bad omen because of it. And then shortly after, a year after he passed, a buddy of his that I had met, we became buddies as well. He unfortunately passed away as well. So it was just this kind of bad omen.
Yeah, I understand.
And I didn't want to go. Well, I had 4 points and something told me go. So I'm going to Kansas, and I actually drew the unit that he lived in, and I'm going relatively close to where he resided. So I'm super pumped. I got a lot of faith in that per se, you know.
Good.
Crazy story real quick about that. So on my hand here, that's his logo.
Okay.
So it's a heartbeat and a bend with a river. It's called Beyond the Bend. So in 21, I was in Indiana, and I killed my biggest whitetail. Was 150. And the next day I'm taking photos of this deer. And you know how in velvet the veins are, the veins wrap around and they make indents in the bone and all that. Well, I'm looking at this rack and I'm just staring at it, and I turn him a couple of times, and I catch this very distinct indentation in his main beam, and it's 100% this bend right here and this little river.
Holy
minus
shit.
The heartbeat, it's the bend in the river. And boy, you want to talk about a sopping, like, gosh dang, I started bawling.
Man, it gives me goosebumps.
And just like, man, David, dude, you just sent me this deer, and that's what I say something to David every day. I wish he was here, because there's many, many, many days, just like anybody else. They've always got that one person that they want to talk to. And I want to talk to David about deer hunting every day.
Yeah.
He was very knowledgeable. He he was just good. He was a great individual outside of being a great deer hunter. But being able to draw Kansas and go to his backyard per se, I've got a lot of faith.
Good.
You know, I got a lot of faith. So outside of Kansas, it's going to be Missouri and Michigan, hopefully. Might swing into Illinois. We're going to see how much time I can get off.
Okay.
I'm shooting for like that 3 to 4 weeks off. I might lose my job. Might have to find another one, but it'll be all right. But that's my aspiration for this year. I'm really hoping for something in Kansas. Got high hopes again for the home farm. But back to the filming and film the outdoors. I want to capture a lot more this year of my ups and downs.
Yeah.
It does get super old carrying a camera. It does get super old setting up your phone. To me, at times, I feel like it takes a little bit away from the enjoyment and the hunt, you know, especially when you're down to end of November, beginning of December, and you got your stuff out there and you look at your camera arm and you're like, fuck this thing.
Yeah.
Just leave my camera in the bag. I want to get over that a little bit. I'm going to purchase some different tools.
Yeah.
And I want to capture a lot of the ups and downs, a lot more than I have been.
Love it. I'm looking forward to it.
Thanks.
But I have a similar feeling. So I know that both the things you just said of getting to that point in November, like when I shot my big deer this year, I made a decision. I'm not bringing my shit because I don't have time and I don't want to be stressed out about setting it up, and then I shoot that fucking buck that night. And I'm okay with it to a point. Like I would love to be able to go back and watch that. So there's that. I also want to get past that bitch voice inside me of like, it's too much. Just fucking do it, man. Because there will come a day where you want to relive that.
Yeah, you want to show your kids too?
It's as simple as fucking using my phone. I got my painted arrowhead. I got my phone case with the magnet on it. I got the custom gear arm. Like, it's not that bad. Just fucking do it. I bought a 360 cam for backup so that if I ever forget to hit record, hopefully that's on. I mean,
that's what I'm going to grab one of those.
Hopefully that saves my ass.
That's what I got going on this year.
Well,
that's
good.
my hopes, man. What about you?
I look forward to it. You say, what about me?
Yeah, what about you?
So I chose to not go out west this year. Like I did 2 years out west in Kansas, and I love Kansas. Like if I could, I would buy land in Kansas. There's something about the small towns, the nice people, it's just a different world, and I fucking love that. And I long for that. But I made a decision to buy a point instead. I've been buying points in Iowa for 2 years now. I'm going to do Michigan. I'm going to do Illinois. I'm going to do Ohio because I'm there for work.
Cool.
And there's a part of me that wants to go out west, like I just said. So Nebraska's over the counter, I think. But I don't know. We'll see.
You're going to be in northern Ohio?
So my territory is northern Ohio, but I'm not afraid to drive and sleep in my truck to go to southern Ohio.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll go wherever I need to go. I interviewed a guy on here. I talked to a guy, Michael Russell. He's down in southeast Ohio.
He's probably, that's about where we go.
And, but yeah, so that's my plan for the year.
Good.
My plan is to never shoot a smaller buck than the smallest buck I've shot yet. I want to continue to and I don't ever, so that's like a 120, whatever. Like, I want to push myself to find at least a 3-year-old deer. And I feel like if I can continue to find a 3-year-old, I will at least be at that threshold where the deer is getting me excited wherever I go. Because I will never not get pumped up seeing a deer like those walk in. I will always be excited about it. And as long as I can continue to have that flame, I'm going to fucking shoot that deer when it walks in.
That's where I'm at. I don't want to shoot anything smaller than my smallest. It doesn't have to be a 170. Doesn't have to be a 150. I aim for a mature deer.
Yep.
3.5 and above. Something that's got a lot of wit to it.
Yep.
You know, not saying 2.5-year-old, 1.5-year-old bucks don't.
Yeah.
But I've evolved, and so have you, to a different standard. I'm holding myself to a different standard. You know, trust me, that little 70 point 70-inch 6-point walks in. That's what I was trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
My heart will get to going.
100%.
And I might think about it.
Yeah.
But toodaloo.
Yeah, because
I'm waiting for the next
guy. I think
guy.
you and I are both at a point where and lots of other people, where we are, that will not have pushed us hard enough. We will be happy that we were able to put food in our freezer, but the reason that we're doing this is for a challenge. And that ultimate challenge is not shooting a 1-year-old. Really.
No.
I mean, it's just...
Especially if I'm going out west or I'm going southern Ohio, southern Indiana. I'm not packing out a 1.5-year-old 8-point. No.
No.
And
again, I'm not naive to think that I'll ever see a 160 again in my life. It could never. It might never happen, and I'm okay with that. I want to have excitement. I want to be happy with what I've done. I want to work hard, and I want to be satisfied.
Excitement and experience.
Yeah, it's the adventure, man. And Matt Lear's been preaching that, and I stand by it as well. It's the fucking adventure. It's the waking up with a stiff neck because I slept in my truck, and smelling like armpits because I haven't showered in fucking 3 days, and eating Casey's pizza and fucking drinking energy drinks like crazy. And
we just talked about Casey's pizza the other day, you and I. That's the whole experience of going out west.
It really is,
and
man.
South.
Yep.
If you don't grab Casey's pizza at a gas station on a afternoon deer hunt, a morning deer hunt, whatever, you're missing out.
Yep. So, well, I sincerely appreciate you taking. I mean, again, you're a busy man, and you got to get up early and go to work, and I appreciate you coming over tonight, man, and doing this with me. I had a great time talking to you and getting to know you better. And is there anything else you want to leave anybody with?
I just appreciate you inviting me, man, and I very much appreciate you letting me use your household and continuing my fitness journey.
I love it.
On the road, man.
You're welcome as long as you want to come over here.
Thank you very much.
Yep,
thanks for having
thanks
me.
everybody for sticking around. Thanks, Christian, for being here.
Y'all be sure to check out Film the Outdoors.
Fuck yeah.
On Instagram, Facebook. We do have a YouTube. We're coming on that a lot harder this year. But be sure to give us a like and a follow if you don't mind.
So Christian's Instagram is self_. You okay with I say this?
Yeah.
I don't think you said it in the beginning. Maybe you did. It's self_made_88. And the Instagram for Film the Outdoors is one word, Film the Outdoors. Exactly like it sounds.
Yes, sir.
I made note of that before you got here today so that I could say. Thanks again, dude. I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, man.
Anybody that's stuck around this long, go to Apple, iTunes, whatever podcast thing, and leave us a review. Thanks.